Let's talk about a different type of outcome, and I believe that this is in your area of expertise. Larsa Pippen. She was Larsa Pippen. We could talk a whole hell of a lot about this woman, but we'll just stick to the legal side. She was awarded half of Scottie Pippen's retirement for life from the NBA. Is this a normal ruling in your experience?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we take a step back and look, what do we got? We got a long-term marriage. They were married for 19, 20 years. They have 4 kids, right? One of them is still a minor. One is still, I think, 14 years old. So a lot of people, especially women, would say, hey, if you're with a dude for 20 years and gave him 4 kids, you kind of deserve half, right? I mean, how much do you want to give her? Now, of course, Scottie Pippen could have been smart and gotten a prenup, but he decided not to do that. And this is the result. You lose half of your retirement. And it's just so fascinating, her case in particular, because even though she has 4 kids, she's saying that she wants another kid. But this time she wants the kid with Michael Jordan's son, Marcus Jordan. This lady is 48 years old talking about she wants a baby by, by Marcus Jordan, who is like 32. I mean, to me, 48 doesn't seem very old because I'm 46. But I couldn't imagine myself at 32 getting with a 48-year-old. I mean, she's 50. A 32-year-old with a 32-year-old man with a 50-year-old woman. And apparently they're all in love. They've started this new podcast that they have together, and they're in it to win it. Now, I think Michael Jordan recently, some reporter just called him and was like, hey, do you approve of this relationship? And he just kind of laughed it off and said, no, he does not.
Emphatically, he was like, hell no, as he should.
As he
and
should.
Shout to Michael Jordan.
Yeah, you've got to, I don't know. I don't have any kids, but if I was old enough to have a 32-year-old son, I don't know if I'd want him. I mean, I don't want to be ageist. I'm sure there are a lot of 50-year-old women who are fine. They're nice people. But you would think, I mean, that's just a huge age gap. And starting,
it goes so much deeper than the age gap. For God's sakes, come on, let's just call this what it is. He and Scottie Pippen, no matter what their relationship is today, they were friends, teammates, co-workers, if you will, 30 plus years ago, doing amazing things together. When Marcus Jordan was just being born, you don't want to see, no matter what the relationship is, you don't want to see your son with the ex-wife of a guy you work with. Like, come on, that's I could see where Jordan comes from. And here's the deal. Jordan's a public figure. He knows how to handle media. I was so proud of him for emphatically speaking his truth, because he could have just as easily said no comment and kept it moving. But for him to be like, nah, I understand that's my son, but I can't co-sign this. I ain't riding with my kid on this. His last name is Jordan, and he can have any girl in the world. That's the one he chooses? Nah, I ain't with it.
Yeah. And, I agree with you to an extent, but let's just say I was in the NBA and you were in the NBA, and we're teammates and we play together and win all these championships. We both have kids. I have a son, you have a daughter. Years pass and our son and daughter start dating. And, I guess that would be different because this This is actually his teammate's wife. That's the
Wife.
thing. Yeah,
And I was waiting for you. Like, I don't know where you was about to go, but this is a little different.
If it was the sons and the daughters, I guess it'd be different. You know, the wife is a bit much, to be honest. And I'm not sure how much that would matter if the wife were, let's say, like, I don't know. It's just messy. I'm trying to be charitable.
If the wife, if this was the ex-wife of Isaiah Thomas, maybe I could look at it different.
That's what I'm saying.
Jordan played against Isaiah. Jordan played against so many other. Maybe it would be, but Jordan's right hand. I mean, you can't speak Jordan without speaking Scottie.
That's true.
You can't. I just don't. I mean, even from a standpoint of optics, it just don't look good.
It doesn't look good. You're exactly
optics.
Right.
It doesn't look good. But even the bro code and just things you don't do, I don't know that I could co-sign. Matter of fact, I know I can't co-sign. I won't co-sign. It's just some lines you shouldn't cross. That's one of them. Especially when, and I'm gonna go one step further. My God, how many dudes in the NBA is this woman gonna sleep with?
That's the thing. That's the thing. It's like
now
her
you
specifically. Wipe That's the thing. That's why none of us would want our sons to be with this lady. It's because of who she is as a person. The whole teammate thing, yeah, I mean, that's one thing. But the fact, she's sleeping with Future, which in itself should disqualify you for wife material in my eyes, right? It's the fact of who she is. It's this huge age difference, where that this man can get a better woman. Why are you at 32 dealing with Future's leftovers, Future's 50-year-old leftovers? Why are you settling for that? You hear all these women saying that they don't want to settle and they're not going to settle. And then you're 32 with a damn near 50-year-old ex-Future girlfriend. Or I don't even know if Future was claiming her, to be honest, which is even worse.
Nah, he wasn't claiming her. Actually,
it's because of who she is. I get the whole teammate thing. I get that,
like she must have some hellified box, man. Like like who she is. Like it's a whole lot of bad chicks out there. I don't look at her and be like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. Like, I just gotta have her. Like, this woman must have dynamite in between her legs because she's moving through that NBA something different. And then to land on Marcus Jordan and to get him to wife her, I don't know. I would just say she got something different. Like, that box must be different. But I want to go back to legal issues, if you don't mind. Not sure if you're aware of this, but on June 30th of this year, 2023, Florida Governor DeSantis, and I don't know where their divorce took place, but I know she lives in Florida, and I believe Scottie lives in Florida, so I don't know if the divorce took place there. But he actually signed a landmark alimony reform bill eliminating permanent alimony. He just did this maybe 4 or 5 days ago. Would this affect her decision to get lifetime alimony from Scottie?
That's a great question. And it reminded me of a quick comment that I made earlier about Scottie Pippen having a prenup. And I do want to say, thinking about it, that he had a prenup. Now, I can tell you as an attorney who's drafted prenups that prenups say a lot of things. And one of the things, Scottie actually made a motion to the court to change his prenup such that she could not get alimony. A lot of guys have prenups which will allow for alimony in all types of certain circumstances. I drafted a prenup for one of my best friends, and he wanted it structured in a way that the prenup would expire after 15 years. And so and they've been married now, I guess 18 or 19 years. So, well, I guess it hasn't been that long. maybe like 15 years. They've been married a long time. But the point of it is, I don't know what Scottie's prenup said about the alimony, but apparently it allowed it. And that's why she's getting it. And that's why Scottie had petitioned the court to allow him to modify the alimony provision that's in his prenup, which apparently the court did not do. Now, this whole issue of Florida eliminating permanent alimony, I think that's amazing. Now, it only applies to people who are living in Florida, right? And you really get divorced in Florida. I need to take a look at the specific law. I know there was a huge issue about whether it would be retroactive or not, whether you could have already been ordered to pay permanent alimony, then you move to Florida and now you don't have to do that. That doesn't seem like that would be the case. But certainly for new cases, new divorce cases that started in Florida, that originated in Florida, it looks like they're going to put some rules to how alimony is formulated. And I am all in favor of that. Here in Georgia, we don't have any rules about alimony. There's none of this, oh, well, you need to be married 10 years before you can get alimony, or you're entitled to alimony for a certain amount of time that is equal to half of the lifespan of the marriage or a third of the lifespan of the marriage. We don't have that. And so when I'm negotiating with an attorney here and we're talking about alimony, we really don't have any guidelines, because you just got to know what this judge typically does in your particular case. So the fact that Florida has taken the step to really put guidelines in place and to limit it where it should be limited, I think that's amazing. In California, where they just routinely hand out permanent alimony, I think that's insane. There are a lot of reasons not to live in California, and I think the divorce laws are certainly one of them. I mean, so many men get screwed by California divorce laws. So I think that Florida is taking the step in the right direction by setting out guidelines and letting everybody know, hey, if you want alimony, this is what's going to be considered. This is how it's going to be calculated. That's what we do in child support. Every state of the nation has these child support worksheets. You don't ever have to argue or guess about what the child support should be, because you've got these child support calculators. Georgia, there's no calculator. There's no rule. It's just whatever the judge wants to pull out of their head that day. And that leads to a lot of arguing, a lot of wasted resources, and cases taking much longer than they should, because both parties are jockeying for this alimony and no one really knows how much the judge is going to give. So the fact that Florida is laying out these guidelines saying, hey, this is how we're going to calculate it, I think it's amazing. I don't know if that's going to affect Scottie's case or not. I would think it would not. And I'm not even sure what state they're in, to be honest. I'm not sure if they're in Florida or not. But I think in general, what Florida's doing is on the right path.
Yeah, I would agree, especially considering, like you said, there is no calculator. There are no set parameters in place in which you could say, okay, we can build off of this formula right here.